All right, so today's video, we are watching a Gold 1 tank on console. We're going to be playing Ramattra, D.Va, and Orisa on Havana. Not a bad hero pool for this map, although I still would like to see Sigma there. They say, honestly, I don't want to be like an egotistical guy and blame my team, but I really don't think it was my fault as tank. It was a pretty rough start, but it progressively got better when I found my rhythm in the match. However, DPS fed first round, Soldier went 11-9, Sombra went 12-10. I definitely died at a few points where I shouldn't have, but our DPS thankfully locked in the second half of the game on attack. However, our heal started to be lacking. Honestly, might have been lacking the entire time. I wasn't paying attention too hard because I was too focused on trying to carry my team to a dub. This sounds like a lot of everybody else is the reason why this game was tough, and it's not my fault. That's kind of the vibe we're getting from that game? It's kind of the vibe I'm getting. I'll be honest with you. That's the vibe I'm getting. So, I guess we'll see. Alright, you don't need to stand there to do that shield angle. You can just do that from anywhere. I mean, so far, this is a start. That's for sure. Don't you love when you get life grip by your Life Weaver? It's great, isn't it? I mean, we'll watch. Like I said, I mean, you know, they could still be playing well. Nothing's really happened so far except, like, their Echo got rolled, but, like, it was, like, an Ashe on Havana, so I get it. I'm not seeing too much so far. Alright, just to point out, Nemesis form has range. So don't try to be 7,000 feet away from them to get your punches hit. Alright? Okay, I just want to point out to you, and I see tanks do this all the time, including myself, so this is actually a really good way to remind myself not to do this too. When you get pulled by your Life Weaver, try not to make it your reaction to just start punching again. You got pulled back because your Life Weaver sees something that you may not be able to see, whether that's different angles on you, your HP low. Your reaction to getting pulled by Life Weaver was to run at them again with just below the armor threshold, where you have your armor, and start basically punching again. Why do that? Like, let your teammate heal you up, let your teammate get you back to full HP, and then go back in. I do this sometimes, which is why it's a good reminder. Nothing really happened there, but you have to let your support sometimes get you back to full HP, otherwise you never get caught up back to full HP, especially with the DPS passive. Even though the DPS passive got a little bit better to deal with because of the 10% reduction, but anyway. Good Life Weavers always pull you at the worst spots. But like, that Life Weaver pull right there, the first one was rough. The second one, though, was like, it made sense because they were out of position, their HP was low, and they went right, like, they were just saving you from, like, being way too aggro and falling over. And now you can see why. Once again, I didn't see your full HP, but you were at, like, what, like 300 HP still? You still didn't get healed up to full from when the initial pull happened? Give your teammates time to heal you up before you go in and make a play. You need to get your HP back up to full. Or at least above a point where, like, you have a bunch of armor because armor's so good now. Why sit there, not take any cover, and get rolled? Why do that? You know, and you did say at one point that you think your supports might have been lacking the whole time. Like, I don't even think that was, at least on the first team fight where you died there, I don't think that was on your supports. I'm gonna be real with you. And I certainly don't think it was on your DPS. I think, like, it was a long team fight, and you just were being impatient, and you didn't want to get your HP back up to full. Because you were the first one to go, like, well, you might have been the second one to go down there, but you were one of the first couple to go down there. And now your teammates have to fend for themselves while you had to run all the way back from spawn. Yep. Oh yeah, they do say it takes a bit to get into rhythm. I can agree on that. But at the same time, when they lead in with that, they got to remember their whole statement here. They said that it took them a little bit to get into rhythm, which I can agree with. I think that happens in a lot of games. Like, I even have that where, like, you have a couple team fights where you just need to settle. At the same time, they wanted to bring up that their DPS struggled from the get-go, and that they think their supports might have been lacking the whole time. You get what I'm saying? So, like, I understand it takes a bit to get into the rhythm, but then sometimes the way that your games start and the way that you play at the beginning can also lead to all the things that they mentioned, where, like, it can appear that they're sucking or doing this, but, like, if you're just going in and feeding and being the first one to die, how can you expect the rest of your teammates to then be able to follow up and get good plays? Anytime you lose a teammate in Overwatch, it can feel bad. Anytime you lose your tank, it can feel even worse. So, but yeah, no, I get you're saying nothing good too. Like, I'll give the benefit on that, where it's like it takes a little bit to get back into the flow of, like, just you know, when you're first playing a game, like, you can have that happen. I have that happen sometimes too. I'd say it takes me a second just to get kind of locked in. Right here, you're not really doing anything wrong. This is all fine. You survive their ultimates. Ooh, nice EMP. That was huge. Yeah, you can definitely kill their... Be careful of the window, but you should be fine. Yeah, you're fine. Good EMP. I don't mind the Ramattra ultimate because you're just kind of like taking over the map. I mean, did you need the Ramattra ult? Probably not. Am I okay with you using it? Yeah. I think that's a hindsight play. Sometimes when you EMP, you just want to make sure you get value, right? Wait for it. That's a bad pull. That was a bad pull. There was zero reason for them to pull you there. Because you want to get the value as Ramattra, and you want your Ramattra to be able to create space, so, like, that pull was a little bit too... You think he's playing too aggressive? I mean, I can pause and answer that question. I don't think they're playing too aggressive. I do think they play aggressive after they get saved from something, though. I hope that's making sense. So, like, I don't think they're playing, like, hyper aggro to the point where, like, they're throwing the game. I think they play too aggro after they need to settle down. Is that making sense? So, like, they have an idea of going to create space and, like, take map control. But then when they get pulled away, that's when they need to settle for a second. But, like, I don't think it's, like, inherently a bad play style from the initial part. I guess what I'm trying to say. When they get pulled back and they need to get their HP back, that is where they need to settle. But I think, like, if they're playing aggressive like this, he's like right here, it's totally fine. Pushing over on the side there is totally fine. I think that's all good. You said it feels like he doesn't know where the team is half the time. I mean, sometimes I feel like that just happens in Overwatch. Like, I have that happen too. Where, like, you just kind of push in, you don't know where your teammates are playing. And, like, you assume they're going to be pushing in with you, and then you end up looking back. And then they're not even there. The problem I have with that is that, like, if your teammates aren't communicating that to you, and they're just doing that, and then, like, that's the problem. This is too aggro. This is too aggro. Okay. Now, like, right there. It's funny because somebody brought it up earlier. What is this? Because you mentioned earlier that you had some moments, and you did say you had some moments. Well, this is one of them. What is this? And I want you to think about this from, like, multiple different angles, okay? When you push in here, you see a bunch of heroes, and you go, wow, this is great. This is going to be awesome, right? Look at that. You're even, like, you even have your thumbs up saying it's going to be great. See? But the problem is where can you get help from? Right? Look at the line of sight of your teammates now at this angle that you're at. You see the problem? Who's helping you? Would you normally run into a team 1v5 in that type of situation? No. You go, okay, what are you doing? I want you to see this. Who can help you? There's no help in here. There's not even one person outside of the D.Va and maybe the Ashe, but the D.Va protects that from even being able to be shot at by your teammates. So, like, you said they ran into the enemy hoping Ana didn't have sleep? I wouldn't even do that if Ana did it. If I heard Ana sleep, I still wouldn't do that. I mean, I'm not saying I haven't done this. I'm just saying, like, think about that. Even if Ana uses sleep and you hear it, I would still not go in here because you have no follow-up. There's just no follow-up that can be had. Anyway, sorry, we stayed in that one for a little bit too long, but I just wanted to point out that when you want to look at your teammates and kind of shift a lot of the blame there, I want those moments to resonate because you can realize, you know what? While maybe my teammates make a few mistakes, there's a lot that we can work on first, and that was one of them. Because then they had free entry to your teammates. You know? Don't be afraid to ult this, mainly because, like, if you want to keep this map going, I don't mind even you going for the D.Va. I would have liked to see you do something like this, but, like, I think going for the D.Va there in that situation is fine. That was an interesting one. It ended up being, like, a okay EMP because the Mordell got off, but that was fine. Good retake. Bob killed your teammates behind. 3v3. Yep. I actually like this. You want to put pressure on the D.Va early because your teammates need time. Ashe gets a pick on there. Ashe. This is just a brawl. This is just a survive until your teammates get back. Do not try to force anything here. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to pause here because I think this is a good situation for pretty much anybody to learn. When you get in these type of situations where it starts to settle and it's like a 2v2, the last thing you want to do is push into them and then die and trade, because remember, your teammates died first. So technically, if you manage to even out the team fight, right? If you manage to like even out the team fight, your teammates will be back a little bit quicker, right? And you can even see this. I mean, even look at even Ashe. Ashe is just, I don't know what's going on over here. Some scene out of Stranger Things, but we go over here and like your teammates are coming back, right? So you're gonna have a slight advantage. So when you get down to these like 3v3s, 2v2s, back up, go survive. If you stay here, that's pretty much it for your team. It's pretty much it. So like these are situations where like, oh, my teammates died, etc. Like there's like 20 different ultimates that happened. At this point, if you back away, you have a good retake and a good way of just holding second point, right? A lot of players need to recognize when it comes down to a 2v2, you don't need to trade for trade at the end. The best thing you can do is go back, get your teammates back, and then you'll have a numbers advantage. So, now you have a tough retake. Like, your teammates will be able to touch, but it won't be, like, a good one. It's going to be, like, kind of one of those scuffed, like, we got to drop on point, hope they heck up type of situations. Force it a nano, so we'll take that at least. So. Rank is this gold console, I think? I always say I think because I already forget. But I think it's gold. That was just a nice shot. That was, by the way, if you didn't see what happened, that was a 1v1 between Moira and Sombra in their backline for like 3 minutes. That wasn't like 3 minutes, but it felt like it. That was an interesting. Surprised you didn't eat that. Okay. I want to point something out here because, but in this type of situation, you did something that I do sometimes, and I talk about it, where you kind of get stuck in the middle, and you don't do anything else. You can eat the mail? Yeah, you can eat the mail. Yeah, it literally is a projectile that launches in the air. You can eat it. Yep. So, like, to kind of show you what you did wrong there, is you got stuck in the middle. I say it kind of gets stuck in the mud, is kind of how I reference it, where you had two options. Your two options were go back and peel for your team. You can fly up here, even though the mail was there, you can fly up here and help peel, right? That's step one. Or two, go into their backline and try to trade out. Now, what happens here? You go, well, they have a Mei and an Ana. Here's the way that you want to envision this. It's not about whether you get the kills or not. It's about giving your teammates opportunity to be able to have numbers. So if you go for this Ana, right, and the Mei turns, this is already a victory for you in itself, because now you have two people on you, and it means back here is going to be a 4v3. This is before they get a limbs, right? Because you need to make this immediately. Like immediately, right? You see that? So what you would do is you would go for the Ana. Now, if the Mei doesn't turn for the Ana is pretty much dead because of Current D.Va, right? Then what you do is, let's say that you kill nobody, you die on the cart. Now, the cart doesn't move, and this gives your teammates that die more opportunity to respawn and have one more solid team fight to go here. But if you get stuck in the mud and you play in the middle, everybody gets staggered out, the cart ends up here on retake, and then it becomes a lot harder to hold the point. See what I'm saying? So, like, that's going to be on you at that point. Is you got stuck in the mud, and then you didn't make a quick decision, and then now your teammates are dead. It's okay, we have a video coming out soon that I talk a lot about how I play D.Va, which people might like it, I don't know. I basically won, what was it, 24 quick play games in a row or something? Because we were doing I couldn't end stream until I won 30 games on D.Va, and I talk about a lot of those, and like trading and like all that stuff, so. And even now, you going back that way? Look at this. Karsan move. Oh, that's a terrible ult time. That was not ideal. Only reason why it wasn't ideal was because the Reaper ulted before you hit the button, so you want to be able to at least sit there and absorb a lot of the damage. If not, fly up into the air at a certain point and then use your ult. That turned into like the worst possible scenario for your ult. Now let me ask you a question, chat. What's been the problem here? Okay, so here's the problem. So now let's kind of like go to the next part of this. So miraculously, your team managed to get back to the cart. Why aren't you going here? Look at this right here. So rather than flying the other side of the cart where they can't follow you, you go here. And the reason why you go here is because it blocks the cart and it creates more angles. This is why it's one of the hardest points to get by with the choke right here. See, this choke becomes really, really difficult. So just go here, hide right here, sit here. If the Mei pushes you, at least your teammates have angles. Look at over here, right? I'm not saying that Soldier is turning into Venom or something, but like, See what's happening? Like your teammate would have an angle. Instead, when you go on this side, they have no angle. So they can't do anything. Just saying. Positioning can be very key. All right. I mean, you were going to lose that point at that point, so.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
They have a Mei. I don't mind D.Va right now, especially in Season 11. Like, this video might be out in Season 12, but, like, D.Va is just so strong that it's fine. For rank, that is. Obviously, you don't see D.Va as much because Winston's really strong in, like, pro play, but you'll see some D.Va. You have the right idea. So I'm not gonna worry about the opening here. Like, you have the right idea. You went for their back line, played a little bit aggro, didn't just stand there. I think this is all good, in my opinion. I think this whole sequence. Nice job there. Good trade. Gala, thanks to continue with your sub. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. I'm gonna ask you a question here because this is also coming from somebody who plays the card a lot. When you're just sitting on the cart there, will you capture the point with even 3 on cart the whole time? Would you sit on the point at that point, or like would 3 people get there? No, it would get to here at most, like right here. So what I want you to do is actually do this. Go up here, set up here. I like to go up here sometimes because what it does is it prevents some like poke damage from here. But it also allows me to make a quick play and a reactive play if my teammate... I know I don't like to say play reactive all the time, but... Like, if they play here and they need help, I can go from here, right? If they go here, I can go and help from here. And if they go up here, I can also help from here. So don't stand on the cart there. Like, use your mobility to go take high ground up here and deny that space. I mean, if you really want to, you can go here. Or you can even go here, but, like, what ends up happening is you take a little bit too much damage. It just saves you from taking a lot of damage and allows you to react to what side they go to. So, you know, if the cart started here off of the team fight, yeah, keep 3, you win. But if it's all the way back here and you just stand there, you're going to do nothing, and what happens? Sombra comes out, kills your Widow. The Hanzo was up on high ground who, you know, is still alive, and instead of getting a Hanzo pick and maybe a reactive Sombra pick, you end up just watching your Widow die, and now it's a 4v4. Wow, that Lifeweaver had quite the reaction to you being on the pedal with him. That was something. Good picks. Got a pretty good attack here. Okay, so I do want to point out, this is the point in the game where they say that their DPS start to pick it up and now their supports start lacking. So let's see. Is it the supports lacking or does it become how you play? That'll be the question. Vithadar, thanks for the 4 months of the tier 1. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. For the 4 months. Okay. And here's your first problem. Why are you flying at your Widow doing DPS to the person on your Widow rather than DMing your Widow to give your supports time for the Widow to be able to pop off and make a play? That's the part that's really confusing to me at this point. Like, did you see that? Like, your reaction there was to just sit there and not do anything. Like, DM your teammate. Keep them alive. Give your supports time to keep them alive, and then on top of that, like, follow up and get the kills. A lot of D.Va is balancing that. It felt like you just went in and started blasting. Of course, your Widow's gonna die there if, like, you're not there to peel for him. This is actually not a bad ult. Mainly because I think you have numbers. Okay, that was very careful there. Yeah, I was gonna say that health pack's 100% hack. Casa Phillips, thanks for the 19 months of the British Pride stuff. So the reason why I didn't mind the ultimate was because you kind of were in that situation where that you traded out, and it's in your favor at that point, and you can win it. Instead, your reaction was to hide for longer, wait a second, and then fly to the area where the Sombra just came from, who that health pack will be hacked majority of the time. Your reaction to that, just get out and survive for a second. Same concept. Survive for 1 second, go back in, trade. Your teammates will be back, you win. And if you're saying that's your support's fault right there, that is certainly not your support's fault. Just to point that out. job following up on the Sombra. Follow up. Okay. Good kills. Is it me, or do you not like Defense Matrix? I feel like we usually have the opposite problem when we watch people play D.Va, is that they use their DM way too much. I feel like you barely use it. And it's so strong that, like... Yeah, somebody in the chat, in the chat just said it too. Like, it feels like you don't... Like, right now, like that Reaper... This is very interesting. And then, like, when you do use your DM, it's like the part where it doesn't make sense to use it. A good ultimate there. Okay. I gotta stop for a second, because this is gonna make you a much better D.Va player and make pretty much anybody a better D.Va player. Are you ready? Your defense matrix also helps your teammates. Stop sitting there and acting like you're the only one in the lobby and that you're not gonna be able to help people, because what's gonna happen is DM is designed around being able to prevent so much damage. The more you keep your teammates up during these team fights, the more likely you're gonna win these. The reason why you end up in these brawl fights is because you're going around just brawling. You're not doing anything with your ability. So, like, go DM your teammate. If you were playing Zarya, would you never bubble your teammates? I mean, maybe you would only bubble yourself, but like, you're going to bubble your teammates, right? Think about Defense Matrix as a bubble. You're going to bubble your teammate to help them by using your Defense Matrix and prevent them from taking damage from most heroes, right? Obviously, you can't prevent, like, big, left clicks, but why am I seeing constantly it come down to, like, these brawls? Your teammate could easily just survive with a 1 second of Defense Matrix usage, and instead, you decide to just go and start blasting on people and get into these brawl plays, and sometimes it's going to work, and sometimes it isn't. No, DM does not eat break heals. Defense Matrix will eat Ana heals, Kiriko heals, Bap heals, not like burst heals for Bap. Good nano by your Ana.
Your actions are
Yep.
satisfactory.
You try to, but you're always a split second late. You don't want Defense Matrix usage? I mean, like, the only way you get better is just by using it. I think sometimes it's also just about being preventative, like on like expecting damage. So if you see a Sombra go in for your Ashe, like you know who the target's gonna be, then you make a play off of that, right? So, push the cart. Well, I still have that one where people. You talking about the one where people will be like, "Oh, dude, you're so dumb. Why would you Defense Matrix your own Pharah?" And I'm just like, "Yep, okay, sounds good." Yeah, I have that happen still, where I'll DM my own Pharah, and then people will be like, dude, that wasn't even your Pharah. What are you doing? You're so dumb. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. Keep in mind, the reason why you Defense Matrix your own Pharah is to prevent the damage to your Pharah during ultimate. That's the whole point. It's the equivalent of bubbling your teammate, but longer. Now, this is a good ult spot if you go top left over the top here. I'll explain why. They're going to have nowhere to go, and you just saw, like, top left. Or middle where Zen's at. You have either option. Okay, never mind. If you want to use your ult, you don't have to here. If you want to. You lost your timing. Now you have your timing again. Go in. Yes, perfect. Don't even have to use it now. Good EMP by your teammate. The same DPS you said were lacking initially, and then they got better again. And then it's now your support's fault. So it went from your DPS's fault to your support's fault. Although, I haven't really seen any issue with your supports this half, so I'm a little bit confused on that one. Now that I look at it, wait a second. Now that I look at it, where does your support tech up here? That's just an EMP and a good follow-up by Sombra. I don't understand, because I'm not really seeing where the supports are lacking. So maybe it's here? Yeah, maybe they meant like this half? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's now where their supports are lacking. But the only thing I can imagine is they have like a dartboard, and they just have like, they just put like the rolls on there, and they just randomly just do this, and then they see where it lands on the dartboard, and they go, that's whose fault it was. That's whose fault it was. The only time it's yours if it hits the bullseye. which we know that ain't happening. Yeah, I'm hyper season 12 too. It'll be fun. If it's Zarya, you're on Orisa. Okay. Button mashing, but we all do that. I'll give you the you just switch to Orisa situation. You know what I mean? Where like you just switching play styles a little bit, so I get that. They had the right idea. Good play by their Lifeweaver. You gotta hide now. You have to hide. You have to hide. You have to hide. Do not push in. Just back away. Just back away. Just back away. Just trust me. Yes, thank you. Now wait. Look bottom left. Look bottom left. Look bottom left. You gotta wait. You have a Moira and a Zen. Just give it a second. Don't go in just yet. All right? You just be careful. I want you to get to better HP. I don't stop sitting in the middle of the open. Because you're gonna tell, no, do not run into them. It's not a good idea. Do not run into them. That's not your supports. Okay. Oh, man. All right, listen. It's okay to take a second. All right? It's okay to just, like, take 3 seconds. I'm telling you right now. Okay? Let me show you. You're playing Moira Zen. All right? So you have to understand that your first heal, which the Zen Orb was on you the whole time, is very limited. And then your Moira has resources, so you need to give time to your teammate. So the best thing you can do as a tank is help your supports. There's 2 options. Blame your supports here or help your supports. And what you need to do is, rather than just sit in the middle of the open, and you still had opportunity, this decision here to run into them was not good, is just back away. And you go like here. And this gives you time. You go, what do you mean? We had numbers. Yeah, but like, the easiest way for a team fight to go from a 5v3 in your favor to a 5v3 in their favor is for you to give them a free pick. And in my opinion, you gave them a free pick because you just didn't want to take cover. So what you need to do is you need to fall back, take the cover, give time for your teammates. I want you also to look at your support all charge, okay? And I want you to understand this, on how much like this can be like a make or break for your team, all right? You have a Moira and a Zen at 88% and 83% HP. You refuse to get your HP back to full at any point by going for cover. If you go and play cover, guess what happens? Your supports now have their ultimates. Let's go take a look at the other team. They're coming up on their ultimates. So what's going to be good to have? You getting mad at your supports by going into their backline and getting rolled immediately, or falling back, allowing your teammates to heal you up to get their support ultimates, and now when they come back with their ultimates, you have everything that you need. Instead, and I'm not saying they're going to use their ults, your teammates are on their back foot now. They may even use one of their ultimates terribly because they feel like they have to because it's overtime, and it's all been like a domino effect ever since you decided to go into their backline and do that, right? That's why I always try to tell people, help your supports. Your supports will love you if you just go and help them out. And it's as simple as just finding better positioning. Yeah, and understanding like, hey, I have a Moira Zen. I need an extra second to survive. Because now watch, you have Moira ult, right? Somehow they're going to use Moira ult here, and whether or not it goes well or whatever, we'll see. Look at your teammates' ults. You're the one who's dead there. They all got their ultimates 2 seconds later. See? There you go. You got off the cart. And it's interesting because, what's the best way to put this? You're the one that was dead running back from spawn saying, oh, my supports. But it's funny that the people that you blamed your DPS first off, and then your supports, are the ones that won the team fight when you were just running back from spawn. Team effort, remember that. You win as a team, you lose as a team. And honestly, like, your teammates, they won that there without you being there. So they run an Ashe. Nice pick. Ashe, Reaper, Bath, Ana. Oh, you're going to dominate in this comp, Diva. You eat every... There's nothing you can't eat on their team. Remember that defense matrix we've been talking about? You're going to be... It's unreal for you in this situation. I mean, they're just giving you free kills left and right. There's somebody behind you, by the way. There's an Ashe behind you. I just want to point that out. There's an Ashe behind you. Right? I was going to say, no. Don't do this. Stop. Okay. You got out before it became an issue. Please just use defense matrix. Please just use defense matrix. Please use defense matrix. Please use defense matrix. No, it's... Oh! Ah! Okay. Listen, like, you just need to, it's just as simple as cover. Okay? Like, understand they have a diva on the card, so you need to be able to survive and help your team. If you just DM the Reaper there, they're not going to get healed. Your teammates aren't going to take damage. The diva's damage is going to be reduced. Even though you're low HP, you should be able to deal with the majority of it. And remember, Reaper has lifesteal. Reaper's damage does lifesteal, so that's why you just DM the Reaper when they're that low. Let your teammates get the kill. Instead, you just don't do that. You go, that's why I wanted you to use DM, because I see that happen so much where, like, somebody will have, like, this, basically a free win on cart, and you decide not to use the most important utility that you have. And you still might win it. Yes, go up there and help him. You can't go, you didn't have flight, so I understand that. Okay, you heard him go the other way, but okay. I'll chalk that up to, like, maybe you just didn't, like, I don't know, maybe there was something else playing. Oh, please. Look for the BAP. Oh, please. The BAP. Okay, now DM Reaper. Just get your DM ready. DM. Yeah, just DM. Just keep DMing. Don't worry about any damage yet. Oh, I want to point out your Sombra just saved you. That BAP should have been dead a long time ago. Yep. I'm gonna be real with you. Target priority. And like your lack of like defensive utility usage was just. I want to point out your Sombra saved you. The reason why like you just kill the Reaper there is because the Reaper's gonna be it's just you don't want to use your DM. Why was your reaction with as much DM as you have, even after you got away with not using DM, to just pop your Diva ultimate, which resulted in an EMP? When in reality you could have DM'd the whole Reaper out. The Reaper just dies at that point. There's just so much that like it's target priority. You saw a BAP already use their lamp in front of you with low HP. Your reaction was to go on some other target. Like I know you want. I know it becomes a tendency to just want to blame everybody else in these type of games and like, oh, my lack of heals for my teammate must have been the issue, or the lack of, you know, our DPS in the first half. This was a team effort. No one played perfect in this game, and you certainly didn't at that. So I really want you to start focusing on multiple things. I want you to recognize that when you're playing a hero like Diva especially, you know, we saw it with Ramattra a little bit, but Ramattra, I felt like you played okay in Ramattra outside of just being a little bit too aggro at times. Like, when you're playing a hero like Diva, your defense matrix is such a big part of your kit. Like, when you hear people complain about Diva a lot of the time, yes, you'll hear them complain about getting rolled by them by, like, a burst damage situation, but it's usually the defense matrix, right? And there's a reason for that. You prevent so much damage. So if your teammates are dying when I'm watching you at full DM and you have the opportunity to save them, that becomes a you problem at that point, right? That becomes a problem where you need to fix that, because if you peel for your teammates, let me tell you this much right here. When you start to peel for your teammates and help your teammates survive situations, they become 10 times better. The problem is that when you don't react to any of the stuff that's happening, players are always like, well, how are my supports dead? And they might even try to tell you, they're like, there's a Sombra on me, I need help. And you're like, are you dead? How do my supports die? I need help with the Sombra on the backline, please. I'm sorry, but why are we dying to the Sombra? I'm having trouble here soloing the Sombra. Can I have help? Dude, how are you dead to Sombra? Can I have help, please? Support players will be sitting there telling you they need help, and then you don't help ever, and then you're like, oh, it's their fault. For you, the number one thing I want you to focus on is that you have a full team here. Stop being so bloodthirsty on people in front of you. I do want to see you go for trades in situations. That's a different time and a different story, right? If they're already past your team and you can't help them, you go for trades. But when you're in the middle of the open in that stuck in the mud situation, which I found that you were a lot, help your team. Defense matrix your teammate. They will not kill your teammate most of the time. I'm not saying it won't happen all the time. And then you just win. And then you survive. And then all these players you think that are just having problems and suck and it's their fault. And you'll notice that when you help your teammates, I always say this with Diva especially, and tank it. When you enable your teammates to pop off, you enable yourself to pop off. And it makes you look good. It will make you look like a better player, or become a better player, because you help your teammates enable them to play to their full potential. And Diva is one of the few tanks that can do that consistently. So just remember that when you play Diva. So yeah, to your, oh, my DPS sucked and my support sucked and all this. I mean, you didn't say they sucked. You said, you know, you felt like it was their fault. No, this was a team effort. You all had your moments, but you certainly were not, you were adding to the problem. You weren't helping fix the problem. So remember that in the future, that I want you to focus on peeling for your teammates more. Use that defense matrix a bit more. Cover is super important. use cover, get back to full HP, go in and have a good time. Your supports will love you. And they'll also nano you, or they'll give you more ultimates because you're helping them stay alive. They're going to do the same for you. All right? Remember that. You can do this. You have skills and you have mechanics here that can work, but you need to focus on that aspect of the game. It's not just as simple as I'm going to run at somebody and hold my button down. All right? Well, then you can if you're defense majors. You know what I mean. Bloodthirsty and limbs. All right? I know it was a long one, but I really wanted to showcase a lot of the problems that I saw. Hopefully that's helpful, but I think you can climb. Just focus on that stuff. You got this. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to all 3 YouTubes if you haven't, leave a comment. All of that helps. If you want to submit your own spectating, look in the description below. You'll see my Discord right there. We also record these live on stream. You can see the Twitch tab below the webcam, or we stream on YouTube or TikTok sometimes, so stop by if you haven't. We have a lot of fun here. With that being said, I hope you all have an amazing day/night.